And we welcome you live to Oxford, Alabama, where we're pretty much putting a bow on the summer baseball season here at the DYB Majors World Series as you're looking at field number 5 on the campus of the beautiful Chocoloco Park just outside of Oxford, Anniston. James Hardy with you as we appreciate you joining us wherever you are on JockJive.com. All of our various announcers on staff here in Oxford for this week. We'll be carrying you various games here all across Chocoloco Park between the majors as well as AAA and O-Zone divisions of this DYB World Series throughout this week. Action beginning in just a few moments, at least on field number 5, what you're looking at right now between the North Carolina State champions, the South Park squad coached by John Jeffries. That will be the visiting team for this ball game, and the host squad. In fact, literally the host squad from right here in Oxford, Alabama, the Oxford Majors. That'll be the home team for this one, coached by Bradley Harris, as we'll go over the starting batting order for Oxford in the bottom of the first inning, as we're a few moments away from getting underway in the top of the first inning here to open up DYB Majors World Series action. So for North Carolina, the visiting team, it'll be Tyler Nee, the shortstop, leading off. Grayson Little will catch and bat second. Matthew Supa, the starting pitcher, will bat third. Jim Johnson batting fourth, followed by Charlie Petty batting fifth. Carter Edwards at third, batting sixth. Ed England, the first baseman, will bat seventh. Hudson Adams will play center field and bat eighth. Jake Jeffries in right field batting ninth. And then Noah Rogers at second batting 10th. And Johnny Joseph, the right fielder, batting 11th. So as you look at the North Carolina State champions, coached by John Jeffries, also assisted by John Nee, by the way, just 11 players suiting up for this week. As we'll make it a little quicker, at least for North Carolina to get through their batting order, as Oxford will have the full 12 players in their batting order through this upcoming ball game. One of two DYB Majors games that's kicking off this DYB World Series. The Majors division for 2017 also getting underway shortly will be Georgia and Louisiana over on field number 4. The winners of Georgia, Louisiana, and North Carolina and Oxford will play right here tomorrow for an 8 o'clock day to close out the day for the second day of the Majors World Series tomorrow. Once again, we appreciate you for joining us on JockJive.com. It's a little bit typical, though, for the deep south weather in August, a warm day, but there's certainly been, at least from my perspective, growing up in the state of Alabama during this time of the year, during August, and then once you get into the first few weeks of September, really to the first few weeks of the college football season, the heat really gets cranked up. But it's actually, considering that it's the month of August, not too bad of a day outside, as at least for where I am. Do have the air conditioning inside, but at least a nice feature that I'm looking at right outside of the press box window for the fans is that they do have the overhang along the bleachers down the first and the third base line, so things a little more comfortable as well than is usually the case at a typical ballpark for the fans that are watching all across the complex this week. So you'll have Oxford going at it, the home team, as they're taking the field, and we'll take a look at the defensive alignments here. As in the outfield, Jordan in left, Clark the center fielder, and Kimbrough in right. Along the infield, Thornburg at third, Archie the shortstop, O'Neill at second, and Harris at first. Tippett's behind home plate, and getting the start will be Ashton Cook, the right-handed pitcher for the Oxford Majors squad that is hosting this DYB Majors World Series throughout this week. It is a double elimination format all the way through Thursday's championship round that will begin at 12:30, and if there is an if necessary game on Thursday, that will get underway. Both of those games on field number 4, an if necessary game if it's needed at 8 o'clock Central Time on Thursday. First pitch underway is downstairs and low as we are underway 1-0. The count is we're at field number 5 in the beautiful mountains of East Alabama I'm looking at and you're looking at on your screen in the background. Count at 1-0. Pitch sails high as the count goes to 2-0 as Tyler Nee, the right-handed batter, leading off for South Park, the North Carolina State Majors champion for 2017. 2-0 pitch floats in there for strike one. And before we go any further, as far as from my end, just the apologies out there. We don't have access to a crowd mic for this week. So, hey, just want to go ahead and apologize for that right at the very beginning as the 2-1 pitch misses for ball 3 as the count goes to 3-1. Nee, Grayson Little, and Matthew Supa, the first 3 batters, as a high pop-up at the infield left side. Archie settling under it and makes the grab for out number 1. So 1 up and 1 down for Ashton Cook as that'll bring up Grayson Little, the catcher. I mean, you're looking also, I mentioned the weather at this time of the year, but also for the kids all across Chocoloco Park this weekend. It's really one of the last opportunities as a fly ball skied into right field deep, and that will drop in front of the wall as going to second base will be Grayson Little for a double. Had the line of sight there blocked a little bit by the overhang for the fans down the first base line, but a runner at second base with a double for Grayson Little as North Carolina has an opportunity to crack first blood here in the top of the first inning. Opening game of the DYB Majors World Series as Cook toes the rubber and delivers the first pitch. Sails outside to Matthew Supa. North Carolina, the visiting team, wearing the red tops along with the white bottoms in this one. Stretch for Cook as he delivers. Strike call in the inner half as the count evens at 1-1. Jim Johnson on deck. So you'll go throughout the entirety of the roster the first time through the batting order for both teams offensively as a foul ball right side, 1-2. And we'll see throughout this ball game, all of the players on the roster also get an opportunity to play out in the field defensively. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count, and we are just in the top of the first inning, just underway from Oxford. Stretch for Cook, and the pitch is skied into right center field, hit well as that goes back, and it is trying to look gone. A home run over the right center field wall as that'll give North Carolina an early 2-0 lead. So Matthew Supa comes up with the first big hit of this one, an opposite field 2-run round tripper as North Carolina gets the first 2 runs of this ball game. To the number 4 man in the order, Jim Johnson. As North Carolina takes the early lead, and Johnson will take for ball 1. There's a ball hit in the left center field as it drops all the way to the wall as Johnson goes all the way into third base. As North Carolina, after having Nee pop out to the shortstop, has gotten now 3 straight hits, including a 2-run bomb to the opposite field by Supa. As now Johnson at third base, still 1 out. As that'll bring up Charlie Petty. Batting from the right side as the stretch. And the pitch on the way. Off-speed pitch low and away. 1-0, so you have, so far this inning, Nee with a pop-up to the shortstop, a double for Little, a 2-run homer for Supa, and then that triple from Johnson. The 1-0 low is a good stop by Tippett behind home plate as the count goes now to 2-0. Our games on field number 5 today, Alabama and Tennessee, will be the next ball game following this one. And then later on tonight, Florida and South Carolina at 8 o'clock Central. Grounder through the left side for a base hit. As easily coming home to score will be Johnson, and North Carolina takes now a 3-0 lead. It'll be Charlie Petty with his first RBI of the game. Third baseman Carter Edwards coming to the plate, batting from the right side. Cook looking for his second out of this inning as the pitch is lifted in the gap in left center field. That's going to drop down as advancing to second and making the turn and going to third. And making it into third will be Petty as into second base Carter Edwards with the double. So 2 runners on for Ed Englund, the first baseman. All of North Carolina's batters so far batting from the right side as the off-speed pitch high and away. 1-0. Only one out and the possibility that North Carolina could bat through the order here in the top of the first inning as the pitch gets away to the backstop as racing and sliding into home plate will be Charlie Petty to third base Carter Edwards, as you can make it now 4-0 in favor of North Carolina. Carter Edwards to third base, and by the way, probably in the next inning, for those of you watching us at home on JockJive.com, we'll put our text hotline for you if you have any thoughts or shout-outs you want to give to us as well. Pitch upstairs. This count now at 2-0. Because I know a lot of you out there, especially the mamas out there, certainly want to give a shout-out to your sons or to friends or other family members of yours that are playing today. A line drive into the gap left center field. That gets down all the way to the wall as rounding first base and sliding into second base will be Englund with the double, an RBI double. And that is Carter Edwards easily scores from third base. So after Nee was retired, 6 straight batters have reached base for North Carolina as the run scoring continues. Pitch on the way. Curveball outside. That is ball 1. 5-0. North Carolina with the lead as the pitch sails high behind the batter, Hudson Adams, who's playing center field today for North Carolina. Was able to get out of the way of that one as the count 2-0. Stretch and pitch for Cook. Lined, and that is foul down the third base line. A bit of a challenge for me, at least in the press box, as far as just trying to see, especially down the line. Center field, not as much of a problem, at least from my vantage point, but could be an issue when you get those balls into the outfield as far as the play-by-play broadcaster is concerned. So just bear with me throughout this one. Stretch for Cook. 2-1. Curveball, that's outside. 3-1. First base is open as on deck is Jake Jeffries, the right fielder. Pitch on the way. Hit into center field. Playable and caught out in center field by Clark. 2 away. First time in 6 batters that Oxford has recorded an out defensively. 2 away now for Jake Jeffries, the right fielder, another right-handed batter in this North Carolina lineup. Cook comes set. Pitch on the way. Bounce right back to the box as Cook will toss it over to first base. That's in time, and that'll do it for North Carolina as we are through a half-inning play. But North Carolina gets 5 runs on the board as they take an early lead, an early cushion built by North Carolina as your early score. North Carolina 5 and Oxford nothing after a half-inning of play as you are watching the DYB Majors World Series on JockJive.
Frustrated. She's having trouble with her defensive player. Look at this sweet pass behind the back. Hurts 2 on his
And that one is hit on a rope to center field. Watch that one. And it is, oh, what a great diving catch by the center field.
And in that game, it was basically a running back by committee. I mean, you had a lot of guys carrying the football. Is that the protocol for the upcoming season for the backfield of Jackson State?
It's a really nice pitch to get the ground ball double play. Second one.
6-5 is your final. East Georgia advances to the championship game.
Bottom of the first inning, and North Carolina will be going out into the field and have a little bit of a lineup issue that we'll go over here. Ed Anglin, that's listed on my lineup here. That was given to me up in the press box that was supposed to start at first base, is out on the mound for the North Carolina State champions. So we'll at least do a little bit of housekeeping throughout this bottom of the first inning. But while we do that, time to let you know what the Oxford starting batting order looks like. DeAndre Archie, the shortstop, batting first. Jalen Clark, the center fielder, will bat second. Ashton Cook, the pitcher, will bat third. Josiah Kimbrough will be in right field and bat cleanup. Dalton Thornburg, the third baseman, batting fifth. Batting sixth, Carson Harris at first base. Mikey Tippett, the catcher, will bat seventh. Colin O'Neill at second base, batting eighth. Bryson Jordan in left field will bat ninth. And then batting 10th, Anthony Pratt. Jordan Tenney batting 11th, and Score Bussey will bat 12th for the host squad, the Oxford Majors. The North Carolina State champions, the South Park squad, coached by John Jeffries, already out to a 5-0 lead, as we're still awaiting to get to the bottom of the first inning because we have a lineup discrepancy. Shall we say? As, at least on my lineup card, it's Matthew Supa that's supposed to be out on the mound for North Carolina. They brought out Ed Anglin in warm-ups before the bottom of the first inning, and so we're taking care of things when it comes to that little lineup discrepancy right now. But while we have a little bit of time, just want to remind you that want your very own DVD of any game broadcast during this year's DYB Majors World Series, simply email info@jockjive.com and we'll get the process started. DVDs are $10 per game, plus shipping and handling. Once again, that email address is info@jockjive.com. And we'll give you that text hotline here in the next half inning as far as giving us your feedback, some of your comments as well, and maybe a shout-out of yours. Hey, if you've got a family member out there or someone you know that's playing either on Oxford or North Carolina or anything else you want to tell us, we'll put that up on your screen here in the next half inning. You always got to be prepared for the contingency, we'll say, just in case something goes a little awry, the monkey wrench thrown in there, and that's what we're just dealing with right now. As far as a minor little discrepancy when it comes to the lineup, a lineup discrepancy for North Carolina. As on my lineup card, had Matthew Supa, the starting pitcher, at least according to the starting lineup that was brought to the press box for North Carolina, but Ed Anglin was warming up as the pitcher. I think now they've just about gotten things straightened out for North Carolina. So you'll get the warm-up pitches coming up from North Carolina, as they do have a 5-0 lead early on, as Oxford will get their first at-bat coming up in just a few short moments. To recap at the top of the first inning for North Carolina, though, Tyler Nee popped up the shortstop, and then 6 straight batters reached base, including, 5 extra base hits, a home run, a triple, along with 3 doubles. for North Carolina that got that 5-run top of the first inning, and really the momentum going early for North Carolina. So I think now we're ready to get things back underway as DeAndre Archie, the shortstop, will make his way up to the right-handed batter's box for the Oxford Majors squad. Five to nothing, North Carolina with the lead as Supa delivers fastball Anthony's for a strike. By the way, our umpires for this game, Paul Taylor at home plate, Davin Lovelace at first base, Damian Hopkins over at second, and Eric DeVille over at third. Liner foul, right side back to the screen, 0-2 the count. A gentle breeze blowing out along as far as the state flags beyond the right center field wall, so not really that, considering it's the month of August in the South, not too bad of a weather day here in Oxford, Alabama. Pitch on the way. Curveball must have been high, maybe a touch inside as well. 1-2 the count. Archie, Clark, and Cook, the first three batters of the Oxford order. The pitch is swung on, and that's swung on and missed for strike three. So that only took 5 pitches that time for DeAndre Archie to go down on strikes against Matthew Supa. One away for Jalen Clark, the center fielder, also batting from the right side. First pitch swinging in a pop-up foul. Now to play down the concourse, the concrete concourse down the first base line. Oh, 1. Swung on and missed. 0-2 the count. So Supa taking care of business from the mound as he's pitching from the right side. We'll go over the North Carolina defensive arrangement here in a little bit. Called strike three, the fastball as Clark goes down looking 2 away. So going over that defensive alignment. Defensive alignment for North Carolina is you got Jeffries in left, Adams in center, and Joseph in right field. Ashton Cook coming up to the plate as he'll take a fastball on the outside corner. Infield for North Carolina, Edwards, the third baseman, Nee at shortstop, Rogers, the second baseman, and England over at first with Little behind home plate. Bouncer wide of the first base bag, right side. That's foul. 0-2. A beautiful facility at Chocoloco Park. Here just outside of the Anniston-Oxford area. We've got the mountains of East Alabama well beyond the outfield wall as the grounder right side, playable and fielded by Rogers as he'll have an easy flip to first. And that'll do it for Oxford in the first inning. Nothing doing for the Oxford Major squad as they go down in order, and we're through 1 inning of play. Your score is North Carolina 5 and Oxford nothing as you're watching the DYB World Majors World Series on JockJive.
Frustrated. She's having trouble with her defensive player. Look at this sweet pass behind the back. Hurts 2 on assist.
And that one is hit on a rope to center field. Watch that one. And it is, oh, what a great diving catch by the center field.
And in that game, it was basically a running back by committee. I mean, you had a lot of guys carrying the football. Is that the protocol for the upcoming season for the backfield of Jackson State?
It's a really nice pitch to get the ground ball double play. Second one.
6-5 is your final. East Georgia advances to the championship game.
Top of the second inning here from Chocoloco Park in Oxford. Really, when you talk about the Oxford area, Anniston and Oxford, really two communities really that abut each other here in East Alabama. You're talking the pair of communities that are about as far as the southeast region of the United States on I-20, about halfway, almost exactly halfway between Atlanta and Birmingham. James Hardy with you as I'm about to put up that text hotline for you here on your screen. If you can't see it, it's 205-454-2162. That is the text hotline for field number 5, not for any other fields, just for field number 5. So if you want to give us a shout-out for a favorite player of yours, a family member of yours, whatever you want to tell me, let me know. I know back in Tuscaloosa, at least where I'm from, in fact, I've actually done quite a few sports talk shows back in Tuscaloosa on Tide 102.9, at least where I work at during the week, producing some morning shows of ours back in T-Town, talking University of Alabama football, especially Nick Saban and what other things might come to mind. So certainly you accustomed to dealing with the folks in the audience and love to hear from y'all. So just let me know if there's anything that you would like to tell me as far as a shout-out or anything else. So we're back to action as the warm-up pitches are in the can for Oxford defensively, as we'll go to the bottom two of the order in Rogers and Joseph, and then back to the top of the order in Tyler Nee to get things going in the top of the second inning. Now just send me your text out there at 205-454-2162, and I'll get to those as soon as I can get to them. Cook delivers as the fastball just a little bit high as the count goes to 1-0. Ashton Cook, the starting pitcher for the Oxford Majors squad. Pitch on the way. In there at the knees. So the count will even up at a 1-1. I know I'll be able to hear the dings as far as my text jingle as far as you sending your responses on the text hotline as the pitch sails high, 2-1. Just underway in the second inning. This is the first game on field number 5 for the tournament between the host squad Oxford and the North Carolina State champions. This is the Majors division that you're watching on your screen. 3-1 is Noah Rogers to the plate as we got several of y'all responding. Now, once again, I'll get to those as soon as I can. As the pitch is low and away for ball 4, as Noah Rogers for North Carolina will reach on a leadoff walk. In the top of the first inning, North Carolina saw 6 straight batters reach base in that 5-run at top of the first inning. I know a lot of you are chiming in on our broadcast, and the pitch on the way is lined into right center field. That'll get down, and that might roll all the way to the wall for Johnny Joseph as Rogers goes to third and rounds third, and he'll race home, and he scores standing up. As an extra run comes home to score for North Carolina, making it now 6-0 as Johnny Joseph gets himself an RBI double. A little extra space on my scorecard. Normally accustomed, also do some Sanford softball play-by-play, so I wish I had a video camera as far as a Periscope or something like that feed from my phone to let you look at my scorecard, because it's getting a little bit messy on the North Carolina side of things as far as the run scoring is concerned. But we're back to the top of the order in Tyler Nee, as we'll put an extra run on the board, making it now 6-0. A runner at second base as the count now goes to 1-0 as Tyler Nee, his first time up, popped up to the shortstop Archie back in the first inning. Pitch on the way is taken high, 2-0. Topsail Beach, North Carolina. Our first respondent on our text hotline. Let's go, Jimmy. Hit some bombs for North Carolina. Pitch on the way is upstairs, 3-0. Also getting to some other comments here that I'll touch on in just a moment, including a little production question for me. I'll get to that after the upcoming pitch. Runner at second, and the off-speed pitch on the outside corner, 3-1. So I have 7 hits now for North Carolina. Pitch on the way is swung on, and that's missed. Full count at 3-2. You got the outfielder Clark in center field, almost playing right at the wall in straightaway center. Payoff pitch is in on the hands, and a pop up to the left side. It's going out. Archie will drop the baseball as advancing to third base will be Johnny Joseph. And I wondered that time if Archie may have lost that one in the sun. You're talking a high sky this time of the day. Also a bright sun out there, especially for the defenders on pop-ups. That'll be, we'll get whether it's a hit or an error on the official scoring here in a moment, but in any case, runners at first and third, still nobody out. As the curveball in there for a strike is going down to second, easily will be knee, and coming home and scoring will be Johnny Joseph. As North Carolina now adds a run, it makes it 7-0. So a stolen base for knee. As we have a little bit of stoppage in play. The mountains are nice. Our next comment. The mountains are nice in the background, but is there any way to zoom in on the camera? I wish we could, or I certainly would do it for you, but not much I can do as far as the camera angle from my end. Pitch gets away to the backstop as advancing to third base. Tyler Nee is the possible 8th run of the ball game and 3rd run of the inning now at third base. Go Johnny Joseph and the NC South Park Sharks from Cousin Savannah all the way up in Boston, MA. Not sure how that pitch didn't come in and hit Grayson Little that time. So runner at third base. This the count at 2-1. North Carolina with the touchdown lead still early here in the second inning. Pitch on the way. That swung on and missed that time, 2-2. Hit into center field. That's going to drop down for a base hit. As walking home to score from third will be Tyler Nee, as that'll make it 8-0 in favor of North Carolina. So an RBI for Grayson Little as he gets his first single. Also has a double to his credit. We continue to get, in fact, just got a follow-up response. Thanks, can't see much, but you're doing a great job of describing the action on the field. Certainly appreciating certainly wish I could do a little more on that camera angle for you, but not much really that I can do for you. At bat, Matthew Supa will get ahead and count 1-0. Always kind of a reminder, probably have to do a little more of a radio call here, but hey, that's okay. Kind of been there, done that, though, from my end, as a foul ball to the right side. Certainly that's how I got my start, folks, in this business, doing campus radio back at the University of Alabama. A couple of years over at the University of West Alabama doing football, men's and women's basketball, and baseball in the Division II scene in the Gulf South Conference. 1-1 the count. And the pitch on the way is hit hard, hit well into left center field. That's way gone and out of here. In fact, that almost got, there's a second wall well beyond the temporary outfield wall that you see right in front of you, as that took a couple of hops and almost got pretty close on the fly to almost getting it to that permanent wall way out in left center field. So a round tripper, the second for Matthew Supa, up to 4 RBIs as North Carolina takes a rather comfortable 10-0 lead. So Grayson Little also comes home to score. 4 runs have scored in the inning. As the ball hit in the right field, as that will be caught out in right field by Kimbrough. Just the first out of the inning. So you've got the North Carolina squad that's in full control of this one. And you look also, there's also got to remember, too, another team in the dugout in the Oxford Majors that, at least at this point, is going to have an uphill climb to try and get back in this one. Pitch on the way. Outside. 1-0 to Charlie Petty. So Jim Johnson flies out to right in the previous at-bat. Bases cleared as we're in the top of the second inning still. Pitch on the way. That'll sail back to the backstop. 2-0 the count. Now we've got our text hotline up there at the top of the screen. In fact, when you look at the scoreboard icon on your screen, right next to the 2017 DYB Majors logo, you've got the text hotline number for field number 5. I'll be sure to give that to you throughout the broadcast as well. 2-1 now the count. As Charlie Petty batting from the right side. Stretch and pitch on the way. Swung on and missed. 2-2. From Jack DeVitt on the North Carolina 8U team. Good luck, Sharks. We're rooting for you. Hashtag win together. Here's the pitch. Is popped up to the left side. That's out of play. Still the count at 2-2. So proud of Anthony Pratt and the Oxford Majors. Count it 2-2. And the pitch. Swung on and missed for strike 3. So after the first 5 batters reached base from North Carolina, Johnson and Petty are retired, a flyout and a strikeout, respectively. So you'll have a momentary stoppage there as Grayson Little will act as the first base coach for North Carolina. Carter Edwards batting from the right side at the plate as he'll swing first pitch and fouls it back our way. Count goes to 0-1. A big thanks to all of our folks, certainly the folks here in Oxford, as well as the folks from the DYB for hosting us once again and lending us broadcast on JockJive.com. The DYB AAA Ozone in Majors World Series. 10-0 your score on field number 5. This is the opening game on field number 5 and one of the 2 openers for the Majors World Series. So you'll have time called as I'll be sure to get to your texts. Keep them coming, and I'll get to them throughout today's broadcast as we'll have a conversation on the mound. Need a sports fix 24/7, whether live or archived? You can get it on JockJive.com. We have multiple channels with multiple sporting events and shows from practically every level of competition. There's the ACCC, GCAA, Georgia Military Channel, DYB, Dixie Baseball, Georgia Highland Softball channels, and so much more. JockJive.com for those with an insatiable sports appetite. Once again, that's JockJive.com. Count it 1-1 to Carter Edwards. Takes the breaking ball outside, 2-1. 2 outs, nobody on base, and a 10 spot on the board for the game. 5 in the inning for North Carolina after scoring 5 in the first inning. Pitch on the way. Upstairs, 3-1. For Oxford, it was Ashton Cook that got the start. I believe it is Mikey Tippett that's out on the mound for Oxford. Getting his first action from the mound as a grounder through the left side, gets under the glove at shortstop, is going to second base after rounding first will be Carter Edwards. Had a couple of scoring plays that he'll probably get some clarification on, including that last ground ball. We'll get some clarification on during, at least in the middle of the second inning once we go to break. But a runner at second base now. 2 away for Ed Anglin. Anglin, an RBI double his first time up an inning ago. Stretch and the pitch for Tippett sails up and in. 1-0 the count. Certainly getting a lot of text on our DYB text hotline. This is the Majors division you're looking at. The 1-0. Popped up to the right side. That's toward the concourse foul. 1-1. Always a reminder coming out here, at least from my perspective, folks, having done some college baseballs, college softball that I've been doing for 4 seasons over at the Red, White, and Blue of Sanford U in Birmingham, as the pitch on the 1-1 goes downstairs, 2-1. And even have done, from time to time, some Southern League baseball play-by-play in the minor leagues. So you always get that reminder, especially when it comes to the professional and the college level, as the 2-1 is low and away, 3-1. So you get that reminder, especially coming to events like the DYB World Series, that, hey, that's where your eventual stars at the college and even the professional level come from, is those youth leagues like Dixie Youth Baseball. Pitch inside on the 3-1, and they'll say that Anglin gets hit by the pitch. So really a walk hit by pitch on a 3-1, really either or in that scenario. So a runner now at first base. First and second now with Edwards over at second. Anglin at first base for Hudson Adams. North Carolina has already batted around one time, a full time, through the order, up by double digits, as with 2 outs, the pitch is swung on and missed for Hudson Adams, who has flied out to center field in his only at-bat so far. Stretch and the pitch. That's low and away. 1-1. Jake Jeffries on deck. Outfield playing pretty deep all the way around for Oxford, as with 2 outs the pitch. Hit down the right side, and that also gets out of play. 1-2. Oxford needing to get one more out to at least stop the bleeding here in the top of the second inning, and needing some runs as well, as they have yet to get a base runner on in their only at-bat. Pitch is low and away, as that'll get to the backstop, as runners will advance. Edwards to third, England to second. 2-2 the count. We're in the top of the second inning. 10-0, North Carolina with the lead. as we'll have time called as it's like one of the Oxford coaches going out to see the Oxford catcher who's down on his knees right now. Trying to find out who that young man is. It's like it's Bryson Jordan, I think, is being checked on. Just to our right of the left-handed batter's box. It is indeed Bryson Jordan. He looks to be okay. It's like getting some more. We're getting some more compliments on the play-by-play coverage. I'll get to that in just a moment. Also another message coming in. Let's go Sharks, cheering y'all from Topsail Island. Looks like a pretty good summer destination, Topsail Island. We'll have to look that one up at some point during the broadcast. Have to pull out the good old Google Maps. One of my favorite things to look up on the net. Let's find out where Topsail Island is. Pulling for Carson Harris and the Oxford Majors. Hang in there. Pitch on the way. Fastball outside. So the count will go full at 3-2. Runners at second and third. 2 outs. We're still plodding along in the top of the second inning. Payoff pitch. That's high for ball 4. Cannot be a lot of fun out there, especially on the mound, when you're trying to get that final out and you're just not able to do so. As Adams will reach first base on a walk, as now the bases are loaded. 2 away. Already 5 runs have come home to score in this inning. 10 runs for the ball game. As Jake Jeffries looking for his first hit, batting from the right side. He'll swat at that one, almost tomahawks it foul. 0-1. Jeffries grounded out to the pitcher his last time up. Another message coming in. Go Sharks, watching from Atlantic Beach. Great announcing. Your play-by-play is great, thank you. Could not make the trip to Oxford. So certainly appreciate y'all giving me the feedback throughout today's broadcast as the pitch on the way. Sails high. 1-1. Edwards at third. England at second, and Adams over at first base. 2 outs. Change up high. 2-1. We'll get a temperature for you, a current temperature right now over in Oxford. There's a few clouds in the sky. Temperature at 87 degrees under sunny skies, but more so partly cloudy skies with some cumulus clouds overhead and off in the distance toward the south and west of us. Count now at 3-1 for Jeffries. Pitch on the way. In there, strike 2. A changeup that time as the count goes full. 3-2. With a lake behind us, ducks on the pond is nowhere to put Jeffries, the number 9 batter in the order, as he'll swing and fouls one back to the screen our way. As mentioning in the last inning, you look at this time of the year for the kids. And it's really the last weekend and the last week that they'll have before, they'll have to go back to school. I'm sure not something that they're necessarily looking forward to here in a few weeks. A swing and a miss that time as Jeffries goes down on strikes, and that'll do it for North Carolina in the top of the second inning, but they do get 5 more runs on the board as they take a commanding 10-0 lead. As you're watching the DYB Majors World Series from Oxford, Alabama on JockJive.
Frustrated. She's having trouble with her defensive player. Look at this sweet pass behind the back. For 2 on his hits.
And that one is hit on a rope to center And it is, oh, what a great diving catch by the center field.
And in that game, it was basically a running back by committee. I mean, you had a lot of guys carrying the football. Is that the protocol for the upcoming season for the backfield of Jackson State?
It's a really nice pitch to get the ground ball double play. Second one.
6-5 is your final. East Georgia advances to the championship game.
Bottom of the second inning as we're slowly moving along here on field number 5 for the DYB Majors World Series, part of a big extravaganza here in Oxford, Alabama for the DYB when it comes to the AAA, Ozone, and Majors World Series. James Hardy with you. Happy to have you along as you can give me your feedback or a shout-out for a player you want me to give a little publicity to on our JockJive.com/DYB text hotline. Don't forget to like JockJive on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. We are trying to reach 10,000 Facebook likes and 1,000 Twitter followers this summer and need your help out there to get there. And when you like us on Facebook, we keep you updated on scores, schedules, game statuses, and a lot more. So go to JockJive.com and follow the shortcut to all the social media, or simply put JockJive Sports in the search engine of Facebook or at JockJive on Twitter, plus subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also give me a follow on Twitter at James Hardy PBP. And you can also leave me a tweet at James Hardy PBP if you have some thoughts on the ball game. Shout out to Jim Johnson on the Sharks, coming from our text hotline. As we'll flip the scorecard over here. Josiah Kimbrough getting his first at bat. Anglin on the mound now for North Carolina. Will get his first inning of work as the first pitch fastball is low and away. Josiah Kimbrough, Dalton Thornburg, and Carson Harris, the trio due up for the Oxford Majors squad, the host team for this DYB Majors World Series. Kimbrough ahead in the count 2-0. Pitch. Called to strike at the knees, 2-1. Once again, just to let you know, at least with the setup we have here in Oxford, we're unfortunately, and that is something I like to use as well from a play-by-play perspective, as the pitch is downstairs, 3-1. Not going to have the ambiance of the crowd mic with you, so unfortunately, do have to give the apologies to that, but hey, just the ball didn't exactly bounce my way on the crowd mic, so we'll certainly make do here this week with what we have. And we certainly appreciate you for watching us and tuning us in all throughout this week, including today. The 3-1 low and away for ball 4 is Josiah Kimbrough. Be the first Oxford batter to reach base. We're still, unbelievably, in the second inning. A couple of big scoring innings for North Carolina has dragged the pace of this one certainly early on. Dalton Thornburg, the third baseman, will get his first at bat. Pitch in just outside, rather. Borderline pitch there as it goes the way of Thornburg, 1-0. Pitch is low and away. Getting a lot of feedback from y'all. Certainly appreciate it. Go Sharks. South Park Nation is cheering you on. Another 704 area code. Keep on pounding Sharks from Shelby, North Carolina. That's 2-0 inside and low, 3-0. Jim Johnson, by the way, at first base, and Charlie Petty getting some defensive action in right field. Pitch is lined left side. That will get called over at third base as the throwback have a chance for the double play. And let's see, yes, the first baseman for North Carolina. Johnson keeps his foot on the bag for the 5-3 double play. So Thornburg is retired for the first out, and that'll clear the bases. But a couple of outs on the board as Kimbrough retired on the base paths, and we're to the first baseman, Carson Harris. England pitching from the right side. Will miss shy of the plate. Ball one. Keep on pounding Sharks from Shelby, North Carolina, and a 252 area code from all the Pages and Fishers watching in North Carolina, as far as the shout out to Jim Johnson and the Go Sharks cheer. 2-0 on Carson Harris, his first time to step up to the plate for Oxford. Pitch on the way. Off the fist, foul to the right side. 2-1. 2 outs, nobody on base. We're in the bottom of the second inning. Our opening game on field number 5 of the DYB Majors World Series between North Carolina and Oxford, as the bouncer in front of home plate, but that's foul. So 2-2 the count. A couple of strikeouts, a ground out, a walk, and a pop-up double play. The results offensively for Oxford so far. 2-2. Just low. 3-2. Also underway on field number 4, Georgia and Louisiana with their tournament opening game underway. The 3-2. Hit high into right field. Let's see where that one, in fact, that'll be caught out in right field for North Carolina's Charlie Petty, as that'll do it for Oxford here in the second inning, as they get a leadoff walk, but they are set down at least by the minimum. So fly out to right will do it, taking care of a little housework here on the score sheet, as that'll do it for Oxford, as we are through 2 innings of play. Your score is still North Carolina 10 and Oxford nothing, as you're watching the DYB Majors World Series on field number 5 on JockJive.com.
Frustrated. She's having trouble with her defensive player. Look at this sweet pass behind the back. Her 2 on his set.
And that one is hit on a rope to center field. Watch that one. And it is, oh, what a great diving catch by the center field.
And in that game, it was basically a running back by committee. I mean, you had a lot of guys carrying the football. Is that the protocol for the upcoming season for the backfield of Jackson State?
It's a really nice pitch to get the ground ball double play. Second one.
6-5 is your final. East Georgia advances to the championship game.
From Chocoloco Park here in Oxford, Alabama, 10-0 North Carolina with the lead. As we go to the top of the third inning, James Hardy with you. A reminder, there is the mercy rule in effect. 15 runs after 3 or 10 runs after 4, and there is a caveat, a little asterisk to that as well, as that every one of the players on both teams' rosters have to get both an at-bat and also some playing time out in the field. So we'll flip the good old lineup card over, and it'll be the top of the order for Team North Carolina. Coming up to bat, Tyler Nee, who has reached base once and also popped up to the shortstop, gets ahead in the count, 2-0. So North Carolina has already satisfied their requirements both offensively and defensively. Oxford only about halfway through their batting order so far, so just settle in, folks. Could be a slow little ride coming to the finish line of this one. Tippett's back on the mound for his second inning of work. Comes set and delivers, and that is grounded to the right side where fielding and touching the bag over at first base for the out is Harris, so that's one away. Check that, Johnson over at first base. So that'll be a 3 unassisted, one away. Grayson Little to the plate as he'll get ahead in the count. 1-0. Nee, Little, and Supa due up for North Carolina, top third of the order. Swing and a miss at the 1-0 as the count goes to 1-1. After today's game is over, you can watch the action again and again on JockJive.com. Go to the same spot you watch the live coverage and watch the archives. Grounder over the head of the pitcher Tippett as it gets into center field, a base hit. So a runner at first base for North Carolina, top of the third inning. Or, hey, if you want to, as far as the archives of this one, if you want a DVD of any of the games for the DYB Majors World Series, email info@jockjive.com, and we'll certainly get that process started. Supa to the plate, 2 home runs so far today as he'll take high on the fastball. I think there's not going to be one grooved right down home plate to one Matthew Supa, who has 4 RBIs, 2 runs scored in those 2 round trippers. Swing, though, and a swing and a miss that time as a throw down to second base as there was no contact made that time. 1-1, and that'll be certainly either a wild pitch or a pass ball, as that'll be a runner at second base. 1 out, a runner in scoring position, a comfortable 10-0 cushion for North Carolina. 1-1 high, 2-1. We'll go over the schedule, our broadcast schedule here on field number 5 for the rest of the day, as the pitch will miss inside, maybe a little bit high as well. 3-1. After the conclusion of this game, scheduled around 5:45 Central, Alabama and Tennessee will open up DYB Majors play, at least for those two teams, as the 3-1 skips in there, and that'll stay, in fact, is blocked in front of home plate, but unfortunately the catcher wasn't able to locate it in time as Little goes over to third. That'll be a wild pitch as Supa will reach on a walk. Third time to reach base brings up the cleanup batter, Jim Johnson, to the plate, who has a triple and also is flied out to right. So runners now at the corners. You had for Oxford, Ashton Cook get the start, but it's been Mikey Tippett's towing the rubber out on the mound for the last couple of innings now. Johnson showing bunt, takes high as he pulls the bat back, and walking up to second base now will be Supa, as he'll put an extra runner in scoring position for North Carolina. Now you look for North Carolina at this point to try and get another 5 spot on the board to try and put themselves in position for that 15-run mercy rule. As a swing and a miss that time, as the count, I believe, goes to 1-1. It is indeed 1-1. Outfield playing deep all the way around for the Oxford Majors. Stretch and pitch. Low and away, 2-1. And remember to keep in mind, even if North Carolina is up 15-0 in a hypothetical situation after this at bat, that Oxford still has to have all of their players go through the batting order as far as an opportunity to swing the bat. There's a swing and a miss on the 2-1. 2-2. Still top of the third. And slowly inching along in this opening game. Stretch and pitch. Upstairs, full count at 3-2. From a broadcast perspective, looking out beyond the center field wall, I'll tell you, it's one of the most picturesque settings that I've had to do play-by-play. Swing and a miss at a pitch in the dirt as Johnson goes down, swinging 2 away. I'll tell you, one of the best things I had when I was at West Alabama before making the trip up as far as career-wise to the red, white, and blue of Sanford U, at least for West Alabama baseball, one of the I think the only team, as far as college baseball is concerned, in the state of Alabama that has almost kind of a similar setting to what we have now. Just take out the mountains, more of the Black Belt prairie land over in West Alabama, over about an hour southwest of Tuscaloosa. And they have the campus lake behind home plate, kind of down the first base line. And I tell you, that's kind of what this reminds me of, what I'm looking at with the lake beyond the outfield wall. Runners at second and third. Charlie Petty comes up with 2 outs. Off-speed pitch in there on the outside corner, 0-1. So I have North Carolina with at least 10 hits. Still no hits for Oxford as their third at bat coming up here in just a little bit as the count 1-1. Still, we'll be glad to take your text, though, and your thoughts on our text hotline, which you can see on your screen as a foul ball to the right side, 0-2. Also we'll check on throughout the broadcast throughout the day some scores from around Chocoloco Park. Stretch and the pitch. Hit foul over the first base stands. 2 strikes. 2 strikes on Charlie Petty, who has played right field defensively also for North Carolina this afternoon. Stretch and the pitch on the way. That floats over the head of Petty. (205-454-2162), that text hotline for those of you that want to chime in. 1-2 on the way, swung on and missed. That's strike 3, and that'll do it for North Carolina here in the top of the third inning as Tippett gets back-to-back strikeouts to finish off the top of the third inning. And for the first time in this one, North Carolina fails to score a run as we are through 2.5 innings of play. Still 10-0 North Carolina with the advantage as you are watching the DYB Majors World Series on JockJive.
Frustrated. She's having trouble with her defensive player. Look at this sweet pass behind the back. For 2 on his set.
And that one is hit on a rope to center field. Watch that one. And it is, oh, what a great diving catch by the center field.
And in that game, it was basically a running back by committee. I mean, you had a lot of guys carrying the football. Is that the protocol for the upcoming season for the backfield of Jackson State?
It's a really nice pitch to get the ground ball double play. Second one.
6-5 is your final. East Georgia advances to the championship game.
10-0 North Carolina with the lead, as we appreciate you watching us on JockJive.com for the DYB Majors World Series. It may come as a surprise to you out there how affordable it is to have JockJive Sports provide coverage of your sporting event or sports team with quality streaming, offering a national and international platform to show off your school or sport. We produce everything from youth sports to the NCAA Division I level, literally from every part of the USA. Large productions are small, tiny venues are huge. We can and have done them all. To put JockJive Sports to work for you, email info@jockjive.com. Once again, that's info@jockjive.com. James Hardy joining you from field number 5 here at Chocoloco Park, the home for the DYB Majors AAA and Ozone World Series, and also the last 2 seasons the home for the OVC softball tournament. We're in the bottom of the 3rd inning as Mikey Tippett's starting catcher and also went in a couple of innings ago as the pitcher is even in the count, 1-1 as he fouled off the second pitch of this at bat. Pitch is blooped into right center field, and that drops down for a base hit, as that'll be the first hit of the ball game for Oxford and the second base runner in the second straight inning that the leadoff batter for Oxford has reached base. Colin O'Neill, the second baseman, will get his first at bat. North Carolina with a 10 spot on the board for the game. 5 in the first 2 at bats. 5 in the first, 5 in the second. Failed to score in the third. As a bunt shown, and the throw down to first not in time, as our home plate umpire, Paul Taylor, says that Colin O'Neill did offer at the pitch. Outfield playing straight away. Edwards at third, playing in on the grass at third. Pitch, that's bunted at, and that's foul. 0-2. So we're not going to have the 15-run mercy rule after 3, but still a possibility to where this game could end after 4 if North Carolina can hold on to this 10-run advantage. So still something to play for, at least from North Carolina leading this one throughout. Not a bad pitch there from England as that misses low. You've had so far Supa and England go at it from the mound for North Carolina as the curveball low and away, and I believe actually we got the third pitcher at the ball game. In fact, we do. Carter Edwards coming in from third will be the third pitcher on the mound as he has a 2-2 count and just misses with that 2-2. 3-2. Pitch on the way downstairs, ball 4, so Oxford has something going. The first run scoring opportunity in this one for the home squad is now runners at first and second, nobody out for Bryson Jordan. Oxford still trying to bat around through their first time through the order. Pitch on the way is downstairs, 1-0. So Anthony Pratt, Jordan Tenney, and Score Bussey still have not gotten to bat yet. Want to know the count? A bunt to left side, a good one as fielding Edwards as he'll go to third and wasn't able to see the impact is called an out over at third base. Once again, at least from the play-by-play perspective, negotiating both of the overhangs for the fans down the first and the third base line, but a close play that time. But on the fielder's choice, that'll be a 1-5 put out. As Bryson Jordan reaches first on the fielder's choice as a swing and a foul ball to the left side for Anthony Pratt, 0-1. So Tippett's retired on that 1-5 fielder's choice as Colin O'Neill, now at second base. Curveball outside. 1-1. Stretch for Edwards. And the pitch is swung on and missed at the curveball. 1-2. Edwards started at third, trying to get his second out as he's one pitch away from the K. And gets it as going up, trying to hit the upstairs off-speed pitch was Anthony Pratt as he goes down swinging, 2 away. So Jordan Tenney with his first at-bat, also batting from the right side. Runners at first and second, now 2 outs. First pitch in there. 0-1. Edwards out of the stretch in the pitch. Outside on the fastball, 1-1. By the way, in the first game on field number 4 for Georgia and Louisiana, at last report, scoreless in the 5th inning. The 1-1. That's low as a good stop that time by Little behind home plate to keep the ball in front of him. 2-1. Neither of the runners could advance. North Carolina looking for the third out as the pitch at the knees, a good one that time as far as the location is concerned. 2-2. O'Neill at second base. Jordan at first base. The base runners for Oxford. 2 down. We're in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Pitch gets away that time from Little, the catcher, as that'll allow the runners to advance. O'Neill to third. Bryson Jordan to second base. And now the count goes full at 3-2. Runners will go on contact, so any hit that gets to the outfield will more than likely score a couple. Payoff pitch. Downstairs for ball 4, so the bases will be loaded. 2 away as Jordan Tenney will draw a 2-out walk. Brings up score Bussey, the number 12 batter in the order, so now Oxford has met their offensive requirements. Carter Edwards will work out of the stretch. Misses down low with the fastball. 1-0. This is the Majors World Series. We also have coverage on JockJive.com at the AAA and Ozone World Series, as we'll have a coaching visit and time called for Oxford. The Oxford Majors, coached by Bradley Harris. Also to remind you about what we have for you this month on JockJive.com. Georgia Military College Football, Navarre Football, and more coming up this month as we have time called. I'll tell you more of the offerings here as we progress along in today's broadcast. 1-0. Tapped left side foul. 1-1. Bases loaded, a couple of walks in this inning along with a single, a fielder's choice, and a strikeout. 2 outs, bases loaded. Pitch on the way. Tapper to the right side, a convenient hop over at second base for Rogers as he'll make the flip over to first base in time, and that'll do it for Oxford here in the bottom 3rd inning. They load the bases but cannot get a run to score. As we go to the top of the 4th inning, as we are through 3 innings of play. Your score, North Carolina 10 and Oxford nothing, as you're watching the DYB Majors World Series on JockJive.
Frustrated. She's having trouble with her defensive player. pass behind the back for 2 on his set.
And that one is hit on a rope to center field. Watch that one. And it is, oh, what a great diving catch by the center field.
And in that game, it was basically a running back by committee. I mean, you had a lot of guys carrying the football. Is that the protocol for the upcoming season for the backfield of Jackson State?
It's a really nice pitch to get the ground ball double play. Second one.
6-5 is your final. East Georgia advances to the championship game.
We go to the top of the 4th inning. North Carolina still with a 10-0 lead. James Hardy with you, rolling along as we go to the top of the 4th inning, doing a little scorekeeping on the scoreboard in front of you. Still no score between Georgia and Louisiana in our other Majors World Series opener as far as the 3:30 pairings are concerned. Coming up later on for the second round of games, got 3 rounds of games, your 3:30, 5:45, and then around your 8 o'clock all Central Time, folks. 5:45 games between Mississippi and Texas. That's over on field number 4, and then Alabama and Tennessee will be our next game here on field number 5. Then at 8 o'clock, Arkansas and Virginia on field 4, and then Florida and South Carolina on field number 5. We got our text hotline for you at 205-454-2162 if you want to give us a shout-out for your favorite player out there or want to give us a comment on the broadcast. Carter Edwards to the plate. Is still on the mound for Oxford. This is the host squad. You have the Alabama State champions, but also the host squad from here locally in Oxford. Mikey Tippett still on the mound as his first pitch of the inning upstairs, 1-0. You got Edwards, England, and Adams due up for North Carolina. Stretch and pitch on the way. That's swung on and that's missed, 1-1. Certainly hope you're enjoying our broadcast today. I know it's a little more, certainly been there, done that when it comes to both being on the winning and the losing side from a broadcasting perspective of a game like this where one team is clearly dominating the other. But certainly hope you're enjoying this one. And I know just looking at the mountains of East Alabama in way beyond the center field wall, certainly something pleasant to the eye. 2-1 now the counts to Carter Edwards, who has doubled, has reached base a couple of times, and was stranded at third back in the second inning. Batting from the right side, Tippett's comes set. Pitch is low for ball 4, and that'll be a leadoff walk. And check that, I believe we had a pinch hitter. Yes, we did. Noah Rogers that time at the plate, so he will reach base. Actually, the second time he's walked and reached base via the free pass, so Rogers over at first. Pitch downstairs is stopped nicely at home plate, but a good job, an alert job of Rogers that time, taking advantage of the situation and getting in to scoring position. So you have Tippett's on the mound that delivers, and that's high over the head of Ed England, who has doubled and has been hit by a pitch. 2-0. 10-run mercy rule in effect. This is our opening day, so All of the teams here get a chance to play at least a minimum of 2 games. So the earliest a team can leave from the tournament is tomorrow. You have all of the states represented in the Dixie Youth Baseball, as well as the host institution here from Oxford, the Oxford Majors, playing this week. As a swing and a miss, an off-speed pitch outside, 2-1. 5 runs in the first, 5 runs in the second for North Carolina. As that's how they've taken their 10-0 lead so far. We're in the top of the 4th inning. 2-1 outside, 3-1. Stretch and the pitch. Fisted foul to the right side. Seen a lot of pitches being hit off of the bat handle. We have had, in fact, Matthew Soup has had a couple of hard hit home runs to right center field and just to my left of straightaway center field. Stretch and the pitch. Lined down the right field line. That's a fair ball. As making the turn around third, coming home to score will be Rogers. As North Carolina puts a run on the board to make it now 11-0. So Mikey Tippett's now up to 84 pitches so far today. Number 8 spot in order for Hudson Adams, as he'll take low and away, and that gets away. Just behind home plate is making it up to second base will be England. Stretch for Tippett's and the pitch. Blooped into left center field. That's going to drop down for a base hit, as getting the call around third will be England. He gets the green light, and he'll walk on in. 12-0 now in favor of North Carolina's. Going up to second base will be Adams. So an RBI that time, the first for Adams today. Got a fly out to center and a walk to his credit. We'll call that a double, at least unofficially, on my scorecard. While we have some time, as there's time out on the field, we mentioned to you about the August lineup of offerings here on JockJive.com, whether it's the AAA, Ozone, and Majors Dixie Youth World Series this week. Also, things like the Dixie Baseball World Series, Georgia Military College Football, Navarre Football down along the Emerald Coast of Florida, the Great American Rivalries, and a lot more out there. Plus, this fall, SWAC football, soccer, and volleyball, plenty of high school football, and the ACCC Game of the Week, and more. A litany of reasons you need to come back to JockJive.com early and often. We've got a new pitcher on the mound for Oxford, and so let's go ahead and take this 30-second timeout, and we'll get you that new pitcher after this.
Frustrated. She's having trouble with her defensive player. Look at this sweet pass behind the back. Her 2 on his hits.
And that one is hit on a rope to center field. Watch that one. And it is, oh, what a great diving catch by the center field.
And in that game, it was basically a running back by committee. I mean, you had a lot of guys carrying the football. Is that the protocol for the upcoming season for the backfield of Jackson State?
It's a really nice pitch to get the ground ball double play. Second one.
6-5 is your final. East Georgia advances to the championship game.
Jordan Tenney on the mound for Team Oxford, the Oxford Majors, as they've gone through, had now 3 pitchers appear from the mound in this one. We're in the top of the 4th inning, and your score 12-0 in favor of North Carolina, as they have added a couple of runs here in the 4th inning. Pitching from the right side, Tenney will get the strike call. 0-1. Stretch in the pitch on the way is lined through the left side for a base hit. As getting the call around third, Adams, as he'll score easily. In fact, slides in to home plate to make it 13-0. Tyler Nee that time with his first RBI on an RBI single. And right before we got back, Jake Jeffries grounded out back to the pitcher, so there's 1 out as a grounder up the middle and through for a base hit for Grayson Little. As stopping at second base will be Tyler Nee. So we've had Edwards along, check that, Rogers, that was a pinch hitter, along with Anglin that have come around to score for North Carolina. Back-to-back singles for Nee, and Little had put 2 runners on. As it appears we're going to have maybe a pinch runner. I think we will. Check that. It'll be Rogers that'll be coaching at first base. We've had various players, at least bench players for North Carolina, have some coaching duties over at first base. As a swing and a miss at the curveball that'll get away from the Oxford catchers. That'll allow runners to advance. Bryson Jordan behind home plate now for the Oxford Majors. Score up to 13-0 as a high pop-up down the right field line. That's going to drop and foul. 0-2 now the count. Spot for Matthew Supa, who's had a big day from the plate. 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, 2 runs scored, and has also walked. Outfield playing deep all the way around predictably as the changeup outside. 1-2. Tenney comes set, and the pitch. Hit into center field, and that will fall, let's see, what it's called an out in center field by Clark, as a run will come home to score. Not sure, though, wasn't able to see if Tyler Nee tagged up in time after the out was made in center field. I don't see an appeal being made, so right now the run's going to stand, barring an appeal being made by Oxford. So we'll call it a sacrifice fly to center field as it stands, unless there is an appeal for Oxford. Apparently the run's going to stand on the sacrifice fly for Supa. 5th RBI of the day. Makes it now 14-0, at least as I have it. Your runner at second base, however, 2 outs as the grounder through the left side by Thornburg for a base hit, as getting the stop sign is Little over at third. And going up to second base on the play will be Johnson. So we'll have time called as North Carolina in firm control of this one. So we have Charlie Petty coming up to the plate from the right side. Two runners in scoring position at second and third. Outfield playing back. As the big right-handed batter already has an RBI single and takes downstairs for ball one. As it stands now, North Carolina in pretty good position to take this one by the mercy rule. Stretch and the pitch on the way, low and away. Don't forget to like JockJive on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. We are trying to reach 10,000 Facebook likes and 1,000 Twitter followers this summer and need your help to get there. 2-0. Fisted foul to the right side. When you like us on Facebook, we keep you updated on scores, schedules, game statuses, and so much more. So go to JockJive.com and follow the shortcut to all the social media outlets, or simply put JockJive Sports in the search engine of Facebook or at JockJive on Twitter. Plus, subscribe to our YouTube channel. 2 outs, 2-1 the count with 2 runners in scoring position for North Carolina. 2-1 outside, 3-1. North Carolina has batted around so far this inning, has added to their lead. Stretch and the pitch on the way. That almost hits Petty as that's inside. So on the 3-1, that'll be ball 4 as that'll load the bases and bring up the 10th batter of the inning as Noah Rogers got a chance to bat to begin the inning. And later came around to score, but I believe it'll be Carter Edwards getting his first at-bat of the inning. His third at-bat at the ball game. He'll swing first pitch and pops it up in front of home plate. Dropping the ball that time was the catcher, Bryson Jordan. That'll allow a run to score, and there's a runner caught up between first and second base. A little confusion out on the field as there was a pop-up right at home plate. I believe that was a fair ball when the pop-up was touched, and it was a fair ball, so a run's going to come home to score because there was some confusion on the base pass. The out recorded between first and second will stand, so it's a fair ball, a run scored, and an out to end the inning. So that'll do it in the top of the 4th inning for North Carolina as they put some more runs on the board, up 14-0 as Oxford will need 5 runs to keep this game going as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning as North Carolina with the firm advantage as you're watching the DYB Majors World Series on JockJive.
Frustrated. She's having trouble with her defensive player. Look at this sweet pass behind the back. For 2 on his hits.
And that one is hit on a rope to center field. Watch that one. And it is, oh, what a great diving catch by the center field.
And in that game, it was basically a running back by committee. I mean, you had a lot of guys carrying the football. Is that the protocol for the upcoming season for the backfield of Jackson State?
It's a really nice pitch to get the ground ball double play. Second one.
6-5 is your final. East Georgia advances to the championship game.
Bottom of the 4th inning, it is indeed, in fact, had a question about the scoring from 252 area code, and yes, it is indeed 15-0. As a pop-up on the first pitch left side and a basket Willie May-style catch made over at shortstop by Nee. 1 pitch and 1 out as DeAndre Archie retired to begin the bottom of the 4th inning. I mean, at this point, hey, if you're the team on the goose egg end, 14, 15, 25, it's almost like it's the same at this point, as the first pitch is low for ball one. North Carolina trying to finish this one off, though. Pitch on the way. Lined into the glove of Knee over at shortstop. Best defensive play that I've seen all game long, as Knee goes up the elevator to make the catch 2 away. So we're pretty close, at least 1 out away, as Oxford needs 6 more runs to keep the game going, as the 10-run mercy rule in effect is we are almost through 4 complete innings. As Ashton Cook, the original starting pitcher, will swing and lines it into the gap in right center field. That will go all the way to the wall as Cook rounding first. And we'll get into second as the ball just getting in from the outfield. That's a 2-out double. And North Carolina, from the get-go, just asserting their will with 5 runs in the first inning, including a 2-run opposite field shot from Matthew Supa, who has a couple of home runs so far today. We'll get you an update also on some of the other action as far as the Majors World Series contest going here at the DYB World Series. 0-1 the count is coming up to the plate is Josiah Kimbrough, the starting right fielder. Now 1-1 the count. Oxford at least trying to get on the board as an update over on field number 4. Louisiana leading 3-0 top the 6th over Georgia. First game on field number 4 for the Majors World Series. 1-1 floats outside. 2-1. A pop out to short, a line out to short, and a double so far this inning. Swing and a miss at the 2-1 as the count evens at 2-2, and Oxford down to their final out. Winner of this one will take on the winner of Georgia and Louisiana here on field number 5 at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. While the loser will have to go into a loser's bracket game at 5:45 tomorrow. Curveball just misses as the count will even up, will rather go full at 3-2. Loser of this one faces the loser of Georgia and Louisiana, 5:45 Central on field 4. Curveball outside, ball 4, and that'll put a second runner on base. As runners now at first and second, still 2 away. Dalton Thornburg to the plate, who popped up into a double play, his only time up so far. Stretch in the pitch. Swung on and fouled off. 0-1. Star of the game so far for North Carolina, we've mentioned a few times. Matthew Supa has reached base 3 times. 2 home runs, 5 RBIs total out of the 15 runs for North Carolina. All-speed pitch low and away. 1-1 the count. Strike that time as the count goes to 1-2. And that has indeed gone final as Georgia advances to a winner's bracket game tomorrow to face most likely North Carolina at 8 o'clock here on field number 5. But still an out to go in this one. 1-2 the count. Pitch upstairs, 2-2. Our next contest scheduled to take place in a little less than 30 minutes. Alabama and Tennessee, our next scheduled game, is a swing and a miss. That'll do it for Oxford in this inning and for the ball game. As Oxford will go down, no runs in the inning as Thornburg strikes out to end this one. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 2 left on base. And as that's your final score, North Carolina dominating from the get-go thanks to 2 home runs on the part of Matthew Supa, the starting pitcher. 2 round trippers, 2 runs scored, and 5 RBIs for North Carolina's Matthew Supa. A domination all the way around. 5 runs in the first and second inning for North Carolina, and then they added 5 more in the fourth inning. So your final score, 15-0, North Carolina with the victory in 4 innings. As that'll set up a Georgia-North Carolina matchup tomorrow night here on field number 5 at 8 o'clock Central Time. And in the losers bracket game, it'll be Louisiana taking on Oxford at 5:45 on field number 4. So that'll do it. We appreciate all the texts that have come from you in our viewing audience on JockJive.com. Certainly have appreciated talking with all of you today. And stick with us because we'll be back in about 30 minutes or so for the start of our second game on field number 5 between Alabama and Tennessee for the DYB Majors World Series. You've been watching DYB Majors World Series on JockJive.com.